I'm going to welcome our Consul General into the technological minefield that we've prepared and assembled on this stage. So ladies and gentlemen, if you'd be so kind, and please hold your applause to the end as I bring them up here, to welcome our four guests this evening. First of all, an old friend of the Council, the Honorable Wolfgang Drax from Germany. The one with your flag. Second of all, a woman who has helped us tremendously, has brought two of her foreign ministers to us, and one of her ambassadors we are delighted to have with us, the Honorable Elizabeth Foliadu from Greece. Next up, another person who's been a friend of ours for a while. We're delighted to have him with us here tonight, the Honorable David Martineau from France. And finally, a new addition to the Consul Corps here in Los Angeles, the Honorable Giuseppe Peroni from Italy. Now, let me begin tonight with a very brief word on moderation. My role tonight is to facilitate a conversation, not to be a part of one, and I want you to hear from the four diplomats that we have with us on stage tonight. So I will be asking questions, and I will only be intervening at the request of all four consuls general if they go on a bit too long for what we hope to be a really brisk conversation. So let's begin tonight, the four of you. As we sit here tonight, the European economy is in crisis. I think most people in our audience probably know the basics. There's a problem of sovereign debt, of debt taken on by national governments, and because of the economic integration that took place by bringing the continent under the euro, this is a continent-wide concern. And the fear is not only the austerity measures that your nations will have to take on, but the implications for the banks who lent the money, who fear they may not get it back, and for the global financial system as it faces the potential consequences of that scenario. So let's begin with the basics, and just tell us briefly and concisely what your countries individually are doing to deal with this crisis. Who would like to start? Consul General Drax?
I'm delighted to be here, and I must congratulate you because, 2 years or 3 years ago when I came to LA, I could never imagine that somebody is really interested in Europe here in Southern California. So the good side of this crisis is suddenly everybody knows even the name of the German Chancellor. When she was here in 2010, I think the LA Times had on page 5 lines, and nobody else was interested. So the crisis has a very good side for me. But the bad side is, and you see it here on the scene, there is a tendency to play us against each other, so to say, which is of course not true. Coming to your question, this is not a question to one nation, one member state of the EU. It's a question which concerns us all. And when I say all, it's not only Europe. We sit in the same boat, but you sit in the same boat as we do. Because now, in this world, in this interlinked globalization world, we sit, North America, the United States, and Germany, and France, and Italy, and Greece, all in the same boat. And unfortunately, I must tell you, for the media, only bad news is news. So every morning when I switch on my whatever computer, telephone, I have only bad news. The real important thing is that we all are working to overcome the crisis. And the crisis is not, like the moderator said, a financial crisis, it's a political crisis. It's a crisis about trust. whom do we trust in this world? There is a phenomenon that citizens, investors, everybody, the businesses don't know anymore who they should trust. And we work on this. There's a short-term, well, monetary, so to say, system crisis. We work on this, but there's a long-term political crisis as well.
Councillor General Fotiadou, Greece has certainly been a focus of this conversation. Could you give us some insight into the policy reaction in your country? Should be on.
First of all, thank you for inviting us. It is a pleasure to be to the World Affairs Council one more time. We had the pleasure to have here two Ministers of Foreign Affairs and our Ambassador from Washington. It's a wonderful forum for us, our foreigners, to come and speak about our countries. Yes, Greece was one of the first victims of the crisis, and all started because of me. Because when I came to LA, I was thinking it would be a very nice thing to have some publicity for Greece. And then in a few months, we made the front pages. So I should be very careful what I wish for. But in any case, Greece was one of the weakest countries of the Eurozone, and the crisis started there as well as in Ireland and in Portugal. We've been a long way with the help of our partners in the European Union and IMF. The Greek people is still struggling, and we have a long way in front of us. But in a very short period of time, we managed to do a lot of things, to do a lot of changes for Greece and for her citizens. We had, as you know, a big problem with our public sector, a huge public sector. We are working on that. We are going to reduce the public servants by 150,000 people. We also had a very public sector which wasn't working very well, and now with the help of our French friends, we are working on that as well. We are restructuring our whole economy, and this is not very easy. There are a lot of austerity measures at this time in Greece. Our salaries have been cut by 20%, the pensions have been cut by 15%, but the people are still resistant. Unfortunately, we have a lot of people who are unemployed at this moment. Our unemployment rate is 18%. But we are there, we are working, and we hope that sometime in the near future we will start to see a light in the end of the tunnel. The crisis started in Greece and in Portugal and in Ireland, but it's a crisis that affected the whole European Union. And for me, it's a systemic crisis. Because when we started the European Union some years ago, when we introduced the euro, the idea was to have a strong currency and to be competitive in the world. And that happened we succeeded. I mean, we had very strong currency which went from 0.88 to 1.3, 1.45 last year in the middle of the crisis. So, but we couldn't prevent everything. I mean, we couldn't foresee what would happen if one country fails. What will be a reaction? We didn't have a mechanism ready-made to help this country, but we succeeded. We did that, and we are going forward.